Mindscreed, we're here.
I was just watching some of Peterson's sort of view on postmodernism. Mate, what a subject! Like, how are we even meant to touch on this?
I don't know. It's just something I don't understand, and I want to see if we can try to explain it or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not alone there.
Wait, so you said you were watching Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I just watched a 5-minute clip of him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and you know, he's a smart guy, isn't he? But he does tend to go off the subject a little bit because his mind is so he's just a smart guy, isn't he? It just takes a little...
he goes off different topics and then connects them to the same point he's making.
He's the boss. I'd look at some other videos as well, but I didn't actually get to the point where once he started to actually talk about postmodernism, he was just sort of talking about Marxism and how all these things started to connect to build into create what is postmodernism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You were saying postmodernism is connected to Marxist philosophy as well, isn't it?
I don't know too much about it myself. What's your understanding of it so far?
Well, I was hoping you would explain it to me.
Yeah.
I forgot to do my homework. So I don't know, but it's somehow connected to people who are leftists or something.
Leftists?
Yeah, they have a political view that leans to the left.
Is it?
Yeah, because they're the ones that I think this is right anyways. I don't know. I'm just trying to connect some ideas that make no sense. But they're the ones that are involved with all this gender stuff.
Yeah, I whilst I was looking into it a bit more, gender did come up a bit, and a few other concepts. When you said postmodernism, the first thing that came to mind was the world as it is now. For some reason, I'm not sure why.
Postmodernism.
I don't even know why. It just the world how it is now came to mind or something. Of how it's going on.
So it's a new thing then.
It's not new, isn't it? It's meant to be late 20th century when it came into birth.
Right.
But I heard that many people still don't necessarily understand it. It doesn't necessarily have a set in stone description of what it means.
So it's a vague thing then.
It feels like it, but I've already put a few minutes into looking into it. It's still very early days.
Yeah, because what are their main ideas, their principles and stuff?
Are you asking me?
No, it was a rhetorical question, but you can answer.
Oh, no, I'm alright, mate. I have no idea. Even though that's part of it, I guess. I don't know. Gee, it's a subject. Oi, oi, oi.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was thinking, do you reckon it'd be best, say when we come up with subjects and stuff, would it be best just to jump straight in and film it and get what we get from it from our own source, or look outside of ourselves first and then try to make a so-called judgment on it? I think I heard it was coming from an analytical sort of point of view, rather than being the thing itself, observing it for what it is or what it is not, or believing that it is but it isn't.
What? Believing that it is but it isn't?
that goes.
Oh, that's cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it goes straight right into like the bias of like the behaviors.
Shit.
It's a deep subject, a big one, a vast one.
Yeah.
But I do love talking about these sorts of things, you know what I mean? Trying to just get a greater understanding of it. I really don't mind. I don't care at all about sounding stupid or anything like that, because to me, that's what it's all about. Like, sounding stupid at first and then, you know, learning. Because everyone's stupid until they learn. You know, you're a fool until you ask the question.
Exactly, and he who dares. Sorry, I'm distracted by my phone right now. I shouldn't be. Anyways, yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like, these ideas, I think like they're so complex sometimes, and you try to like understand it by trying to explain it. And I guess you can only learn if someone, you know, offers you a better explanation or points out that you sound stupid, and then they give you something to learn about, innit? Yeah. Like, oh yeah, this is actually what it actually is.
It's all a paradox, like, though, because even in itself, like, it's a bias, like, sort of belief. Everything is, and we're unaware of like many of them.
I wouldn't say everything is. Because then you'd be experiencing, like, dissonance with everything, innit? You know what I mean?
Okay, so what wouldn't you say isn't a cognitive bias?
Okay, so let's define what cognitive dissonance is, innit? It's connected to cognitive bias, innit?
Yeah, so okay, so what's the cognitive? Do you want to take
dissonance? Like, okay, so two thoughts that are conflicting with each other. Say like, yeah, you smoke, but you know, smoking is unhealthy, and then you just, you know those two don't go together, innit? Because if you knew smoking is unhealthy, then you wouldn't smoke. Yep. So you wouldn't hold those two same thoughts. So it'd be really uncomfortable. That's a dissonance. Right? So what was the question again?
So that's what cognitive dissonance is, and then we have like cognitive biases, and they're sort of like the playgrounds of the dissonance, if that makes any sense.
So are they like a form of I don't know if I'm understanding you correctly. Are you saying they're a form of dissonance, or like that's where dissonances come from?
Ooh,
so cognitive bias is like, you know, you like one thing over the other.
But you'll be unaware of it. Say, for instance, I live by the Villa ground, don't I? So there's Aston Villa, and their rivals are Birmingham City Football Club. So I'd have like a bias, a cognitive bias towards Villa, because I'm sort of programmed into being born into Birmingham and connecting myself in a biased way to that in-group. In-group is a bias as well. There's in-group and out-group bias. There are like hundreds of them. And another bias is the curse of knowledge.
As well,
what did you say?
I was saying they make sense as well. Like, what's why those biases?
It really does. I think it's really important to like look into these sorts of things, because then you start to see them everywhere. In online marketing, psychological warfare, it's everywhere. Yeah, I was gonna say the other one is like the curse of knowledge, and that's when, say, like, we're having this conversation right now, assuming that the listeners understand what we're saying.
Oh yeah. Even though it is our job to understand or to help the listeners understand it.
to try. Mate,
like, if they don't understand, then why are they watching?
Because we strive to understand, don't we? We strive to understand, but what we do is we rarely like see it inside of ourselves. We seek to find it outside of ourselves in others. So we don't think through ourselves, we think through other people. And then we connect unconsciously to their other own cognitive dissonances or biases, and then we install them unconsciously into ourselves, believing that they are ours. When really, all it does, try stay with me here, because I'm trying to stay with me myself.
I'm with you.
Okay, cool. Really, all it does is resonates with something that we already held within us, but we don't believe that something like that could have been held within us, because we don't. The majority of us, maybe, I'm just as an opinion, don't necessarily believe in ourselves or have a form of self-worth enough to think that we could come up with these ideas. We need it sort of like ticked by the teacher back in school when we did our work and all that. We thought it was right and stuff, but like to really get that little boost of dopamine or whatever you'd like, we had to like have the teacher outside of ourselves then look at it and give it that nice looking green tick and all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's saying as well, you know what I mean? No, you don't. You never will. We never will.
So it's socialized into us then.
Yeah,
so like we project ourselves out there, and then because you're saying we look for something that's already within us, outside. Do you think like it's part of the process?
Yeah.
Like to understand other people and then understand yourself, because you can't really understand yourself without understanding other people. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and that's definitely got to be another sort of bias out there. That what's that? A guy, Lao Tzu or something? He goes on to say like knowing others is power, but knowing self is enlightenment.
Yeah, so it's therefore a different philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah. All right, should we go to normal? Because you asked me before, like, what do I think normal is on the last podcast, and I said we'll put it in this podcast, and it's already been like 12 minutes. So
it's been 12 minutes.
Yeah.
No, I wanna hear more about this one.
All right.
It feels like I'm listening as well. As if I'm not like I'm just like, yo, really. But yeah, normal then.
All right, so what do you think normal is?
I understand.
What do I? Okay, I'll say it first because you asked me, and I can't just like
answer
it with a question. All right, fuck's sake. What is normal? All right, normal is. Wait, did you say? Oh, fuck. What's normal?
What's normal? You know what psychologists call it? Oh, neuroscience call it neurotypical.
Neurotypical. Wow.
It sounds like a diss though, isn't it? Like neurotypical. Like yeah, it's just typical, man.
They call what neurotypical?
Normal is neurotypical.
Bloody. Come on, like you're not helping.
I'm not making this.
Like when they say that. When they say that.
Huh?
When they say that, it doesn't feel like it's helping, you know. It's just kind of making it a bit more kind of further arm's length.
Well, they made it more complicated. Like neurologically, you are typical. Like you are neurotopically average.
Right. So
I mean, they're saying the same thing. But yeah. So what do you think?
Normal is what you are when no one is around at all. No, not normal. Normal is.
Yeah.
Normal is what you are when you are alone and not.
When you are alone.
Yeah, and when you are not governed or influenced by anything else outside of yourself until you meet another party, being like another being, another human, until they project their cognitiveness onto you and say it's not normal, then it's not normal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So normal is something that people have to agree on, isn't it? I mean, you can't just be normal.
Yeah.
Without others around you.
But what's not normal?
Would you call that normal?
What? I'm so lost.
Like solidarity. So you're saying that normal is how you behave or are when you're alone, and then until you meet someone else who's also behaving somehow, and then they say how you're behaving, is it normal? Then it's not normal.
It appears to not be normal only because there's an in-group bias towards what they believe not being normal is. So it's sort of like
it's subjective then.
Yeah, of course, but let's not say that word. I don't like that because it's just a shortcut. It's just like all right, let's stop trying to go deep and just say it's subjective. That because that's just like that's.
Oh, okay, so normal is an objective, agreed upon behavior, or attitude, a concept.
Or unnormal, and yeah. Let's say it's like that. Let's go for that. But what's not normal?
What's not normal is what's not common. What's not.
Yes. What's unfamiliar?
Yeah. What's outside of what you are familiar with.
And what grows in the grounds of unfamiliarity? Ignorance, fear, public shaming.
Definitely fear, though. Like that's definitely it's an evolutionary trait, isn't it? Like it actually helps. Like in tribal times, like stay away from the other people, keep inside, because they didn't have much contact with other people around them. I'm talking back in the day.
Yeah.
Or even in some like isolated tribes right now. But yeah, so
it was like
I don't know, it's also comfort as well. I think there's comfort in not knowing something.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. That old one, innit? But there's no growth in comfort though. And when it's a collective sorts of comfort, it's even harder to get out of that comfort zone. Because then you have to let go of people. And that's not comfortable for certain people, and especially when you've been brought up in a group that thrives on that comfortability.
Yeah. It can be hard to break them.
Definitely, but that's the hero's journey. That's the one. That's where we need to go. We need to create the path that's not been tread on before as ourselves, as individuals, so we can really, grow, I guess. And really live
off in footprints. Yeah.
What was it? What like and I think there's power in that. There's a lot of power in that individualistic sort of being, because you go to grounds where many people haven't been before, and that's how it used to be back in the day. There was just like nomadic tribes everywhere, and they were the ones who took over the people who like lived in the cities and farms and whatnot. They took over the community or the cultural like aspects, even though they were a part of a nomadic culture themselves. But it was less sort of certified. And do you think that's what made us weaker in a sense? Does culture make us weaker?
No. I mean, I don't want to say no, but I think culture is...
There's pros and cons, of course. There is.
Yeah, culture is something that's existed in our senate. That's what separates us from like other animals. Like we actually have our own culture.
Mm.
You know, I mean, some people want to argue that some other ape species have culture. Like I think it was last year, chimps were throwing stones or gathering stones and putting them like next to a tree.
Yeah.
And when like scientists see this, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking at you. Like I see what you're doing." they want to like gather there and all that shit. You know? So they think that was some form of ritual, or they thought like these acts were like forming a religion or something like that. But obviously I think that they found that was just like some random thing. But yeah, back to my point, like, yeah, culture is something that helps us develop. I would say culture actually makes us stronger, and it allows us to evolve as well. I feel like it's that relationship of culture as well that helps us as people. That's probably more of a collectivist view of the thing, I guess.
Where do you think culture starts to become dangerous then?
I would say politically, it's when the individual's freedom is at risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, but what a thin line that is within culture.
Yeah. So that's like one of, I don't know if you could call it like a mutation in culture or whatever. But that's one way culture can go wrong. You can also, because like culture as well, it's split up into different cultures, isn't it? So like other cultures can be adverse to another culture. You know what I mean?
Of course. I think it becomes dangerous, like you said, when you lose your sense of individuality, and you proclaim to be that culture yourself rather than the actual being, and then you go into like ignorance.
Yeah, so it's like the foundation for a person to develop as a human being themselves. Yeah. Like culture can be, the bedrock for that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like the bird's nest.
Yeah.
Culture isn't, but you've got to take the leap of faith. You've got to jump out of it and then go explore other bird nests, and it's a really beautiful thing. It's mate, just imagine what it would be like if there was only one culture. No Indian food. No jazz. Mate, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Do you know how many like things they wouldn't? Oh, it'd be terrible.
No French toast as well.
Oh my god! Oh my!
Actually, I mean, I'm sure the French have some awesome stuff. I'm just joking because I remember my French roommate caught me making French toast, and she almost slapped me in the face. Man.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, like that is not French toast. You're imbecile. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, man. So in a way, we need culture. No, we need diversity then, you know?
Yeah, of course. Of course we do. We just need. Yeah. No, the diversity is already there. We know it's already there. We need it within ourselves.
This is what confuses me about when people say, "Oh, you just be yourself."
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? Like, be yourself, because you're yourself. Yourself is different things as well. There's diversity in being yourself.
Yeah, of course. It's a difficult one, isn't it? To be yourself. To me, it's just to like listen to yourself and know about your intuition and stuff. But like, it's built out of these dissonances and biases. So it's not really ourselves, is it? There's like ourself, and then there's the programmed self. And let's say, knowing ourself, the self is the higher self, which is always watching, and it's always knowing whether you're on task or not, whether you're doing what you're meant to be doing. It's always there.
Have you ever had an experience where you realize that actually wasn't yourself, it wasn't you being yourself, it was your other self?
Yeah, of course. I think I'd be lying, and I'd be lying if I said no. So have you experienced that also, when you you're not being yourself?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've experienced that before. Like, I don't know, like, I remember this one time meeting new people. Like, you meet new people and you sort of manage your impression.
Yeah.
Like, say there's, so like you become sort of like agreeable, which is obviously, you should, like, at some level when you're socializing, you should have some level of agreeableness. That's not to the point of like hypocrisy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so like, they say they like this, you're like, yeah, I like that too. And then after the conversation, you're like, what? Like, you think to yourself, what was I saying? Like, I don't like trap music, man. I don't like techno music. But during the conversation, you're like, yeah, that's my jam right there. Like, that's my shit.
Yeah, why do you think we do that? Because like, we all like we like to be liked. We want to be accepted, even if it's lying to ourselves to the degree that we actually lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Then isn't that bullshit? Because we're not only damaging the relationship between ourselves with ourselves, but the relationship between ourselves and that person we've just encountered with. Because it's only building the ground on false friendship.
False impressions, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for people like that.
Not many people think like that, man. That's the thing. Like, people really want to be accepted. Like, people need to like be accepted is greater than, and obviously I'm generalizing here. I'm talking about a small amount of people.
Yeah.
Some people don't really care or give a shit. But some people just want to like they can't take rejection, so like they change their impressions that they make on other people.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
So it's sort of like they sacrifice part of themselves for the group.
Yes, so true.
The thing is, it's not a noble sacrifice though, isn't it?
What do you mean by that?
At least it doesn't feel like a noble sacrifice. Like, it's not really like, it's sort of holding yourself back because you're not really.
Yes.
I don't want to say you're not being yourself, but you're not acting.
You're not being true to yourself.
Yeah, you're not being true to yourself, or let's say that. Let's say you're not being true to yourself.
And we can. Sorry, go on. Cause what?
Cause what was I gonna say? I lost it. Go on. Sorry.
I think that's one of the cons of culture or being inside a small group or something. We're more, for the majority of people, remember this is just an opinion, they want, like you said, they want to be accepted within the group and stuff, so they lie to themselves and others. But we're a hell of a lot more vulnerable to act like that when we are in a group. For instance, I can't remember the name of the experiment, the social experiment, but do you know of the one where there's one victim, we'll call him, that sounds a bit sinister, but there's a victim who walks into the elevator, and then one person will walk in and they will face the back end of the elevator. They won't face the door.
Yeah.
And it's the conformatism, isn't it? And another person will go in, so you'll have three people facing the wrong way, and the person, the unwilling victim, is like, oh, okay, so what's happening here? And then you'll watch their body language, and they're slowly but surely follow the crowd, don't think for themselves, and they turn around, and as well as the crowd did. Isn't that mad?
There's safety in numbers, man. That's what that is.
No, there's not. No, there is not. There isn't. You think there is, but there isn't. If there was safety in numbers, If there was safety in numbers, would the world be in the state it is? People don't think. They don't think.
That's overpopulation, but yeah, sorry, go on.
There's a collective drifters mindset to the extent. Another experiment. I can't remember the name again. You might know the names, but it's one where there's a line. So there's a line that's say an inch tall.
Oh yeah. It's the Asch's experiments.
Thank you. That's the one. Just for the listeners, for the listeners who don't know it, there's 3 lines. One's an inch, the other is 2 inch, the other is 2.5 inches, and they're asked which one is the longest line. Obviously, it's the 2.5 inches, isn't it? That's baby talk. Anyone can do that. Okay, so you have like 5 people in a room, one unwilling victim. The 4 of them says, okay, the 2-inch one is the tallest one there. So then the victim is like, huh? Is it? And because, like I said before, it doesn't look within itself and it doesn't believe in its own judgment. It just conforms to the collective's judgment and way of thinking. And I'm not sure about the percentages, but the majority of the people gullibly agreed with the rest of them. Isn't that insane?
Was that at least 70%? At least that much. It was really high.
That's insane. And if there really was power in numbers, explain to me how the hell we allowed us as a human race to allow the belief system that a black human, a black male or female, was a slave. How could we allow that? How is there power in numbers if we conformed and allowed that to happen?
So that's another way culture can go wrong, isn't it?
Of course, so yeah. It's a collective hypnosis.
It's a collective thing. Like when I'll just call it imitation because I don't even know how to describe it any other way.
That's not a bad word.
So like, that's more mutation in culture. Sort of like becomes an enemy of another culture, and you just get that example of like racism or I guess colonialism as well.
What?
Colonialism?
What is that?
That's a word. Colonization.
Oh.
Colonialism.
I get you. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, that. And it's to a point where so the culture becomes like a tyrant, in a way. And this is because it's all tribal, isn't it? This is because of like toxic leaders. Toxic leadership.
Yes.
So this is our tribe against their tribe. We are the better tribe.
Yes.
Them niggas don't look weird. We have guns. We have power. Let's take over. Whatever.
The winners win. And they write the story, don't they? The winners.
The winners of history write the story, innit? Yeah. I've never heard of a loser telling the story.
Of course.
And no one believe in those as well. And it's like, yeah,
exactly, isn't it? Then that already goes into the cognitive biasness of it, and the problem is, you see, truth and popularity, because they have the money and they can make their ideology popular. People get that mixed up with what truth is. You see where I'm coming from?
Alternative facts. Yeah. Alternative facts, man. I understand.
It's just fucked up. It's just fucked up though. I just wish more people would think, because we've got the sheep, and then we've got the wolves. The wolves are the leaders who pretend to be leaders, but really, they are like the blind leading the blind with fear and anger and hatred, because they know it's a very powerful appliance to magnetize these individuals. Because the majority of the individuals who are the sheep are living in that fear basis. So you've got like the lone wolf and everything. The wolves are gonna die. I don't think like they can prevail for too long. They can't, because if you're a wolf like in a pack as well, eventually they're going to turn on each other. But then you have the shepherds, the real bosses, the ones who are like, you know the shepherds. They're the ones. Yeah, they're
the ones that come when the boy cries wolf, and they're. Wait, so it's the problem is leadership then. So either have, like, toxic cultures have, suits, snakes in suits type leadership, and I don't know, like, it would be better with what's this? A shepherd who could guide us.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We're always looking for the shepherd outside of ourselves. We are the shepherd, and all them sheep are the shepherd. They don't know it though.
Yeah, but we can't all be leaders.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? We can't. That's the
people lead, people follow.
Is the problem the leaders or the people? Because, jeez, man. And I don't know whether I said this in the last podcast, but Hitler hit the nail on the head with this quote. He said, "What luck for rulers, what luck for leaders it is that men do not think." And it's sadly true. Men don't think.
It's true, man. We don't want to think, man. We actually don't want to.
Yes.
Like, that's too much. We just push it behind our heads. I mean, at some level, we know what's going on. At some level, but we choose not to acknowledge it.
I feel like that's where the problem lays, though, because then we always think someone else is just going to sort it out.
Yeah. And I don't know, to some level you have to be like that, because you can't save the world.
Yeah, of course.
So you have to live your own life as well,
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to have balance in everything, and you can't help everyone.
No.
Some people just keep helping yourself. And if you wish to help if you don't feel like you can start within the home of homes, which is your body, if you can't start within your body, then start at home, where you may live with your parents or family. Start with them. And if you can't do that, then start with strangers. Sometimes it's easier to smile at a stranger because you don't know all of the baggage and all that kind of crap and prejudged of what they've done in the past and stuff. So if you can't do it with yourself or at home, do it outside with strangers, or I don't know.
Do it outside with strangers, guys.
It sounds weird, doesn't it? But
that's solid advice, though. Yeah. You gotta start somewhere.
You have to start somewhere, and the majority of us can't start within ourselves because we don't Now I don't want to say know ourselves and that, because you said that. But yeah, the reason why I say that is because when I started doing that, the mandala thing in town. Yeah, I had family members messaging me and stuff and saying "Oh, you're an idiot" and blah blah blah. What you doing? Trying to do this for strangers and all that kind of rubbish and stuff, and it kind of sent me back a little. I was like, yo, what? But yeah, if you can't start anywhere, start with strangers. It's not difficult to smile at someone. But this is the thing, I went on a walk today and there was this old woman in a car, and I smiled at her and she plain stared me in the face, no smile back or nothing. And I was proper giving her a smile, hello, I'm a human. I waved to her. As soon as I was about to wave, she put her head down, and I was oh, that's a bit awkward. And then I thought to myself, okay, now what I've done here is I've tried to transfer energy, a positive energy, and I expected it in return. That's where I went wrong. I expected it back. Yeah. And that's that's where it lies. I think it's the intention behind it. If you want to smile with acknowledging they might not even smile back, that's fine. You gotta be like the sun. Like the sun shines, and it doesn't expect me to shine back. It just shines for me, and everyone else.
Yeah.
So you just gotta take a leaf out of that book.
You like the sun, man.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is shining on me.
If you wish to shine.
Anyway, yeah. Huh?
If you wish.
I was just I was subbing DJ Khaled for a second there.
You was what? Did you quote DJ Khaled?
Yeah.
Loyal.
I was like, the sun is shining on me right now. So I rise up to get shine.
What a guy. So funny guy.
Yeah, man. Like you should. It's given without the expectation of receiving, isn't it? Because if you give expecting something in return, then that's not really given.
It's really not.
You're not really, transferring positive energy if expecting positive energy back. You kind of have to leave yourself open to whatever comes back or whatever happens in like just you expressing yourself. Yeah.
That's true. It reminds me of that song. Like I seen like the other day one saying like, if you wish to shine like the sun, first you must burn like it.
Ooh, that's hot.
Guess who said that? Bruh.
Was it?
It was another Hitler one.
Was it Hitler?
I know, innit?
Yo, why you quoting Hitler in this, man?
I know, it's a bit worrying, innit? I've done it twice now.
Would you punch a Nazi in the face?
What the fuck? No. I wouldn't. Why would I do that? I'm not gonna punch anyone in the face, and that's not worth. They're not worth my time. No, that sounds bad if I say they're not worth my time, as if I'm some kind of like. Not in that way.
I only mess with the vilest of villains. You're not the child play, innit? Is what I was thinking. Wait, what was the quote again? Let me hear that, because it was actually a good quote. It sounded good.
If you wish to shine like the sun, first you must burn like the sun.
Yeah.
And it's true, bruh. And if any listeners are experiencing a cognitive dissonance of what it is, because that's what it is. If you're experiencing any like negative emotions when I name Hitler or quote from him, then I don't know about that, mate. It's something you've got to look into, because you've got to look everywhere. You have to acknowledge the darkness in order to really know the light. There is knowledge and wisdom in every aspect of everything. Just because someone is bad or something is so-called bad, remember it's beyond good and evil. Like Nietzsche, that's the sort of look. No, that's not the sort of outlook you need. For me personally, that's how I sort of look at it.
Would you say something about what's this? Religion as well, innit? Like you can't just like there's actually value in looking in all the religions instead of like just sticking to one thing. That's what dogma is, isn't it?
What?
Dogma, when you're like when you hold on to like a specific set of ideas and reject all others.
I think so. I don't
know, like viewers, what's dogma? I don't know. Like, comment in the section below what dogma is. Because I don't know if I'm relating it right.
I thought dogma was like when you sort of see yourself in the bad opinions of others. So if you have like, if you don't like me, for my hair or something, then I would change my hair colour because I'm seeing myself in your eyes. You know what I mean? Sort of like that.
Oh, that's just being judgmental and having low self-esteem or trying to fit in. I thought dogma was, you know what? I don't know what dogma is, but that sounded right. Let's just say it's that. Or I'll just Google it. I've been trying to Google it for like the last 5 minutes, man. My internet is crashing.
It's difficult when talking about many of these subjects because there's a very fine line between trying to help others think for themselves against you telling them what to think or, you know.
How to think, yeah.
I think that's the dissociation. Huh?
Maybe you shouldn't, or maybe we can't, because like I feel like you have to discover how to think for yourself, really.
Yeah.
Or just like, say for example, you like how someone else thinks, and you start thinking in that manner, but it elevates you in a way that sort of like it's not really like, it's not you holding back who you are, but it's a way for you to learn how to think. So how to like better express your ideas or something.
Maybe in the beginning that's how it sort of starts for you to like find yourself within that.
But yeah, it is difficult to talk about this, right? But with something like, you know, quoting Hitler, I can understand why. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hello? Oh. It says 3 minutes left or something, but yeah. Yeah, with something like quoting Hitler, I can understand why like it causes some dissonance in people.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, he was a good leader.
Oh, bloody hell, that's definitely gonna cause some shit there.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, even saying that, that's like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Because, like, yeah, for him to actually rise up to that position and
actually, I disagree.
Like, you have to give the, what's the saying? You have to give the devil his due or some shit like that.
I haven't heard that one.
You have to pay the devil his due. You have to give the devil his due.
I sort of, I know I see where you're coming from, and that how he was a sort of good leader in the way he knew how to suggest and influence, but I disagree that he was. I think the way you dissociate a good leader from a bad leader is from the ones who sort of guide you without telling you what to think or how to be. But once you go into the grounds of sort of ordering and telling people what is meant to be or how it's meant to be, that's when you go into murky waters.
Murky waters. But isn't that what a leader does though? Like, he helps you find your way.
Oh man.
So like, okay, so like, there's a lot of like characteristics to being a good leader, innit? So we're talking about, I don't know, a leader who helps you. I don't know, what did you mean? Like for me, I was just talking about the aspect of him being like, you know, rising up to the ranks, and agreed with the persuasion thing. Like, he could speak like, you know, I don't know, Frank Sinatra could play what did Frank Sinatra play? The guitar or something? I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah, that's probably the last time I'm gonna praise Hitler. Fuck that nigga. Anyways, but you know what I mean, you know? Yeah. So like, let's define what a leader is. Like, what's your definition of a good leader? Not just a leader, but a good leader.
Well, good night.
No.
Yep, sorry guys, we're gonna have to stop it there. We'll carry on the conversation in the next podcast. what a definition is of a good
I hate
leader.
it when series do this, man. They always leave you on a cliffhanger and shit.
We got a time limit, bruh. Right, guys and girls, thanks a lot for listening. Much appreciate your time and energy.
Like,
that's about it.
share, subscribe.
Peace out. Boy.
Peace.